Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and my Budgeting Basics series. Today we're talking about something that's completely transformed my financial life: sinking funds. If you've ever been blindsided by a big expense that you actually knew was coming but somehow weren't prepared for, this video is for you. Let's dive in. We all know that feeling. You're cruising along with your budget, feeling great about your finances, and then bam! Your car insurance bill arrives, or the holidays approach, or your property tax bill comes due. Suddenly, you're scrambling, reaching for credit cards and wondering how you forgot all these expenses. The truth is, these expenses aren't unexpected. They're just irregular. They don't happen every month, but they do happen predictably. The average car insurance bill is around $1,200 annually. Most families spend over $900 on holiday gifts and celebrations. Property taxes, they can run thousands of dollars. These are budget breakers when you don't plan for them, but they don't have to be. This is where sinking funds come in. A sinking fund is simply money you set aside aside regularly for planned future expense. Instead of being hit with a $1,200 car insurance bill once a year, you set aside $100 each month, so the money is ready when the bill arrives. Think of sinking funds as little buckets of money, each with a specific purpose and goal. By planning ahead and saving incrementally, you turn large, irregular expenses into manageable monthly contributions. This is such a simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful for your financial health. Now, it's important to understand the difference between sinking funds and your emergency fund. They're not the same thing. A lot of people make the mistake of using their emergency fund for expenses that should have been covered by sinking funds. So, sinking funds are for planned irregular expenses, things you know are coming, like car repairs, holidays, insurance premiums, taxes, annual memberships, planned vacations, and annual subscriptions, and of course, planned home upgrades. Your emergency fund, on the other hand, is for true emergencies. This is something like a job loss, a medical crisis, urgent repairs that couldn't be foreseen on your home or car potentially. When you have both, you protect your emergency fund from being drained by expenses that should have been planned for. That means your safety net stays intact for true emergencies. Here are some of the most popular sinking fund categories people create: home maintenance for repairs, upgrades, and appliance replacements; vehicle expenses for insurance, registration, maintenance, and eventual replacement; medical costs for annual checkups and anticipated procedures; holidays and gifts for Christmas, Hanukkah, birthday, anniversaries, and any other celebrations you and your loved ones celebrate; vacations for travel, accommodations and activities; annual subscriptions for software, streaming services, and memberships; property taxes if they're not included in your monthly mortgage payment; insurance premiums, especially if you pay annually or semi-annually; and of course, a big one nowadays, technology replacement for phones, computers, and other devices that eventually need upgrading. Of course, you'll want to personalize your sinking funds based on your specific life circumstances and expenses. Not everybody's going to have the same funds. Calculating your sinking fund contributions is super simple. Just take the annual cost and divide by 12 to get your monthly contribution amount. For example, if your car insurance is $1,200, you set aside $100 each month. If you spend about $900 on Christmas gifts and celebrations, that's $75 a month. For home repairs, many experts recommend saving 1% of your home's value annually. For a $240,000 home, that's $2,400 a year or $200 monthly. Don't worry about being perfectly precise with your estimates. Even rough calculations are better than no planning at all. and you can adjust as you learn more about your actual spending. So, where should you keep your sinking funds? You have several good options. A high yield savings account with sub accounts or buckets lets you separate your funds while earning interest. Multiple separate savings accounts provide clear separation, but they could be harder for you to manage. The cash envelope system works well for those who prefer physical cash and tangible organization. There's also budget apps with virtual envelopes, which give you digital tracking without physical separation. Or finally, you can use spreadsheet tracking with a single account if you're disciplined about not touching the money for other purposes. The best one, of course, is the one you'll actually use consistently, though. But let's say you prefer digital tools. There are some great options specifically designed for sinking funds. For example, now, and I'm not an affiliate for these. Ally Bank offers a buckets feature to let you divide your savings account into separate categories without opening multiple accounts. Or Capital One will let you open multiple accounts with no minimum balances. So we'll discover. Um, you Need a Budget and Every Dollar are both excellent digital envelope and category systems. And Cube Money offers a digital cash envelope experience that connects to your debit card. Many financial institutions have recognized the importance of sinking funds and now offer similar features to make them easier to manage. So check with your financial institution and see what they have. If you prefer a tangible system, something you can touch and see, physical sinking funds might work better for you, and you can do it. The classic cash envelope method uses labeled envelopes to separate funds physically, or a labeled jar savings, which create a visual reminder of your progress toward each goal. There's also a binder with cash dividers, keeping everything organized but in one place. Or you might prefer a dedicated tracking notebook alongside with your physical cash. Many people find that physically handling the money creates a stronger psychological connection to their savings goals, whereas when it's in an account, you can't see it. I personally use the digital option because I want to make extra income off of that money. And in a cash scenario, you can't do that, which is why there's the digital envelope option as well. So, are you ready to start your own sinking funds? Here's how to begin today. First, identify your irregular expenses. Review last year's spending to find all non-monthly costs. Okay? Second, calculate the total amount for each category. Next, you're going to divide by 12 to determine your monthly contribution amount. Now, choose your preferred storage method for the options that we previously discussed. And then finally, set up automatic transfers on payday so you don't have to remember to fund the accounts manually or take the cash out and put them in your physical system. Remember, a year from now, you'll wish you had started today, so don't wait. But what if you're just getting started with sinking funds? A big expense is already looming, right? This is a common challenge, but you cannot let that discourage you, okay? Start with your most urgent needs first and save more aggressively for short-term expenses, okay? Consider making temporary cuts in other budget areas to catch up more quickly. And the big one, use windfalls like a tax refund or work bonuses to jumpstart your funds. Just like you might use those to help your emergency fund, you can do the same thing for your sinking funds. For very large expenses, you might need to build up over multiple cycles, and that's okay. The key is to start where you are, not wait for perfect circumstances. Even partially funding is better than no funding at all, right? So, let me share a quick story about my friend Sarah. She used to dread December because between holiday gifts, travel, and end of year bills, she always ended up with credit card debt that took months and sometimes the entire year to pay off. Last year, she started 3 simple sinking funds: $75 monthly for car maintenance, $100 monthly for holiday expenses, and $50 for annual subscriptions. By December, she had $1,200 set for holiday expenses. And for the first time in 5 years, she enjoyed the season without financial stress. She even had money left over that she put towards her vacation fund. Small, consistent contributions really do add up to significant financial peace. That said, let me warn you about some common sinking fund mistakes so that you can avoid them. First, underestimating true costs. You've got to be realistic about what things actually cost and add a buffer when in doubt. 10 to 15% is a good place to start for that buffer. Second, creating too many funds initially. Start with 3 to 5 categories to avoid feeling overwhelmed. You don't want to put too much stress on your current budget. Third, borrowing from funds for unintended purposes. This defeats the whole purpose of separate sinking funds. Fourth, keeping your sinking funds in your checking account where they're too easy to spend accidentally. And finally, forgetting to track withdrawals when you actually use the funds for their intended purpose. You can learn from others' mistakes, and it can help you set up successful sinking funds from the start. Now, on to your simple 3-step action plan. What I want you to do today, make a list of all your irregular expenses. Just brainstorm everything that doesn't happen monthly. Tomorrow, calculate how much you need to save monthly for each expense. Remember, annual cost divided by 12. And then sometime this week, set up your first sinking fund. Just one. Pick the most pressing expense category, and just get started. Thanks so much for watching. Now, you could do your savings plans all by yourself, or you could grab my Done For You product designed to help you manage your savings journey. Are you ready to jumpstart your savings? Grab my Smart Life Savings Planner and start your plan today. With sinking funds in place, you'll never be financially surprised by predictable expenses again. It's one of the simplest but most powerful budgeting tools available. If you have questions about sinking funds, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. See you soon.